I seen a shocking fact the other day. So many of the game's best players have won the Champions League, but not Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So this video will not end until the Champions League wins Zlatan. No, wait, I said that the wrong way around. Just kidding, I said it correctly. So for my first attempt, I decided to build a tactic from scratch and ended up with this 4-3-1-2. I also had to use a pre-game editor to remove his 6-month injury as well, but still, not bad attributes for a 40-year-old. In the first Champions League fixture, we faced Tottenham and Harry Kane missed a penalty.
Oh, you're joking.
Not long after, Zlatan got the first goal of the game when he met the corner at the near post. His strike partner Olivier Giroud then bagged Milan's second. And in the 90th minute, Di Catalare picked up a third, but it was still time for one more as Rafael Leao robbed the defender and made it 4. Unfortunately, the American Giovanni Reina scored an 88th minute winner in our next Champions League group match against Borussia Dortmund, a game that finished 4-3 as well, but with no goals from Zlatan. He did, however, start things off for the first goal in the first back-to-back games against Marseille. It was a comfortable victory at home for Milan and Giroud made it 2-0. But definitely a goal of the night came from Brahim Diaz, whose shot flew into the top corner. He also scored in the second match against Marseille to seal another 3 points. And although Zlatan was scoring a few goals in the league, he was assisting his teammates in the Champions League, like this one for Leao. Another victory as well, this time defeating Dortmund 4-1 in the end, even with only 10 men on the field. Well, 9 men and God. With qualification secured, a win against Tottenham would see us clinch top spot, and we took an early lead, but Spurs came back and equalised. Zlatan then set up his mate Leao again to make it 2-1, but Spurs equalised in the 85th minute through Harry Kane. But with Zlatan off the pitch, hat-trick hero Rafael Leao took the spotlight for a change and helped us top the group. Dortmund also joined us on the same points. Zlatan missed the first leg of round of 16 with a fractured lower arm. And what a surprise, Milan struggled without him against his former club Ajax. He scored 35 goals in just 74 games for the Dutch side between 2001 and 2004. And yet here he is, 20 years later, scoring against them in the Champions League. In what truly was a remarkable match where Milan, who started the game 4-1 down, on aggregate came back to win the second leg 5-0. How did they do that? That mountain is almost as high as the task my dad set me of reaching 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you are in the 79% of people who haven't subscribed yet, if you could, that would be great. Back to the challenge, and it was Manchester City who stood in Zlatan's way in the quarter-finals. Just 3 minutes into the first leg, Zlatan thought he'd give his opposition a chance by intentionally missing a penalty. And in what was an epic match, you couldn't predict which way the tie was going to go. City took the lead, but then Milan equalised. City scored a second when Ake smashed one in. And then Zlatan set up his mate Rafael Leao. Kyle Walker scores another outrageous shot to put City back ahead. And Olivier Giroud scores a 95th minute equaliser. Unfortunately, this is where attempt number 1 ends as City knocked us out, winning the second leg 6-1. On to attempt number 2 then. In our second attempt, I thought I would try the Newcastle 3-at-the-back tactic I used in the Director of Football series. We had Spurs in our group again and beat them both times 1-0, with the second happening thanks to a defensive catastrophe. Zlatan also scored penalties against Club Brugge home and away. And we topped our group with Tottenham finishing 4 points behind us in second, with Borussia Dortmund to play next. In the first leg, it was Rafael Leao who gave us the lead from Tonali's ball over the top. And Leao caused a menace of himself and robbed the ball, and his cross found Zlatan to make it 2. In the second half, we secured the 3-0 first leg win when Leao picked up his second of the match. In the match before the second leg, Zlatan put in a performance of a lifetime against Empoli, scoring 4 goals and 4 very good goals at that, really rolling back the years on what's been an incredible career. Still, he's missing that centrepiece though. The second leg, we got the job done with a 2-2 draw. Zlatan even scored a free kick as well, and another one of Zlatan's former club awaited us in the quarter-finals, where he scored 16 goals in 29 games. It was not a happy return to the Nou Camp though, as Milan lost 4-0. Couldn't save it in the second leg, so on to attempt number 3, where I thought I would try my dad's tactic from his Spurs rebuild. And for the third time in a row, we drew Spurs in our group and once again beat them 2-0, with both Zlatan and Benacer scoring long-range strikes underneath Lloris. And you know what my dad thoughts are on Hugo already.
He is atrocious, isn't he?
Tottenham did score 2 goals from Harry Kane in stoppage time to pinch the win in London, however. And Zlatan missed another penalty against Celtic, who he also couldn't beat in both matches, drawing 1 each time. Zlatan did score 2 in 2 minutes against Sporting though, helping us qualify in second place. After a terrible first leg against Sevilla, although Zlatan scored his penalty, the big man scored a hat-trick in the second leg to help us progress through to the round of 16 on his quest to lift in his first ever Champions League, with Milan winning the game 5-1. And as luck would have it, we got the easiest draw left in the quarterfinals. After a 0-0 draw in the first leg though, Milan progressed through with a 2-0 second leg win. A much better job in the first leg of the semi-final though, as Milan at home defeated Barcelona 2-0 with goals from Florenzi and Di Catalari in Ibra's absence through injury. He played in the second leg where Diaz put Milan 3-0 up before Lewandowski scored Barcelona's only goal of the tie, teeing us up with a showdown in the final against PSG, where of course Zlatan scored 113 goals in just 122 appearances. But unfortunately for Zlatan, his teammates on the day let him down, and PSG scored in the first minute of the match. And in the 40th minute, PSG scored their second through Mbappe, and they lift their first ever Champions League title. And I was sacked by Milan using Dad's tactics after reaching the final, probably because of the league finish, but Zlatan did score 43 goals though, which is incredible. Attempt number 4. Back to using rebuild tactics as we try my Frankfurt one with 3 strikers. We got through the group stage in second place and overcame Chelsea in the round of 16, where Zlatan shone, scoring in the first leg. Man City again in the quarterfinals, who destroyed Milan 5-0 across 2 legs.
Damn it, Carl!
Attempt number 5. We try my favourite tactic from FM22, the scuffed Christmas tree, and we couldn't make it out of the group.
Sorry, what?
Attempt number 6. I thought I'd give a very highly rated tactic called Zaz Fire, who I've highlighted on the channel many times before, and it helped Milan top a lot simpler group. Good start, with Ajax to play in the round of 16. Zlatan struck first in the first leg as well, putting Milan 1-0 up. But Ajax equalised and the game finished when Tadic caught us on the counter-attack. Zlatan also missed another penalty too. The lads got it done in the second leg though with a 2-0 win. Zlatan was the first to score in the quarter-final tie against Sevilla to put Milan 1-0 up. But Salamakers received a straight red card for this absolutely wild tackle, and Calabria also found himself an early bath when he received a second yellow in the second half. And the 9 men couldn't get the job done. 2-2 in the second leg, and attempt number 6 is a failed one. Attempt number 7. I combined 2 tactics I really like and created this asymmetric 4-2-3-1 with a shadow striker. Once again, we faced Barcelona in the group stage and even defeated them 2-1 with goals from Messias and Rafael Leao. However, Zlatan got very frustrated from Barcelona's tiki-taka and decided to chop one down randomly to receive a straight red card. And yet, even with the suspension, he still scored 5 goals in the group stage with a hat-trick against Shakhtar and a really good bomb with a shadow striker Di Catalari. Topping the group, knocking Barcelona out and unbeaten, with Sporting to play in the round of 16. The first leg did not go to plan, however, and we played terribly and lost 1-0. What probably didn't help is that we were also still in every other competition this season too. But Zlatan stepped up and scored a penalty early in the second leg, and when Leao went down the left, his cutback was fortunately deflected in, and that was it. We were off to the races and in control of the tie. That bit of luck kicked us on, and we played fantastic in the second leg, scoring 3 more goals and completely flipping the leg on its head, winning the aggregate score 5-2. However, what seems like the 87th time this video alone, we faced Man City in the quarterfinals. And Erling Haaland put them ahead in the first half. But on the 65th minute, Florenzi bonked in an insane free kick. And with Zlatan coming off as Giroud, it was the super sub who was found with great play to put us 2-1 up in the 80th minute. Followed by scoring at the near post from a corner. And to top it off, when Messias Jr. ran down the right, his cross found the volley of Rafael Leao, and there was no way Ederson stood a chance. Zlatan even scored 2 in the next leg, including the first minute. I would say unintentionally, but this is Zlatan here we're talking about. And he got another from the spot in a 4-3 loss, but a 7-5 aggregate win. And his former team PSG awaits us in the semi-final.
Here we
go.
In what was an incredibly tight back and forth first leg, we took the lead in the first half when we tapped in a very scrappy goal by our Belgian shadow striker. But in a very harsh manner, in the dying moments of the 94th minute, a defensive mistake led to Mbappe playing through Messi, who tied the score 1-1 going into the second leg in Paris. Which couldn't have started any worse for Milan when Florenzi, who was playing centre mid because of injury, received a straight red card in the second minute of the match. This of course meant PSG piled on the pressure and opened us up just 5 minutes later for Mbappe to score. But Zlatan put us level again from the spot, and guess who it was who met the corner to win the tie with 10 men and send us into the Champions League final. It was God himself, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Can Liverpool stop the Champions League winning Zlatan? Well, it's time to find out, because Zlatan holds the record for the most Champions League appearances by somebody who hasn't lifted the trophy, a record that he will not want to be keeping. And Zlatan took it upon himself to change that when he scored just 7 minutes into the final, getting his head onto the flick on. And Milan were resilient, pressing Liverpool high at the pitch and stole the ball from them, playing through Leao and scoring a second. And winning the Champions League for the 8th time in their history. But of course, the first time for 41-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Who, by the way, scored 53 goals this season.
The Champions League finally wins Zlatan Ibrahimovic.